Guys, we are now halfway through the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. It's honestly crazy to think we already have 72 new tracks in this game, and there are still 24 yet to be unveiled. So in this video, I'm going to predict which tracks are going to make it in Wave 4. And as per usual, let me know if you agree with my predictions, and feel free to share any other thoughts in the comment section below. Okay, so as we already know, the prefixes were an exact match when Wave 2 came out last August. However, when Wave 3 came out, it looks like Nintendo swapped out a GameCube track in favor of a Wii track, which ended up being Maple Treeway, you know, after bumping up the GBA and 3DS track up. So if my speculation is correct, Nintendo may continue doing this weird swapping trend. It's a possibility they may have taken the Wii track from Wave 4, so theoretically, this GameCube track should now be in the Fruit Cup. And with that, I think this slight change looks pretty good. The first 3 waves didn't include GameCube at all, so there's a possibility Nintendo will throw 2 our way in Wave 4. So yeah, here's what I think are the final prefixes for Wave 4. Let me know if you think they're gonna move more things around, cause to be honest, I don't want to do any more of the math. My brain already hurts from explaining all this, sheesh. Anyway, let's get started with the Fruit Cup. For the opening track, I think it's going to end up being Amsterdam Drift. Even though I've never played this one on tour before, based off the gameplay, it looks to be a complete banger, and what a way to start off the first track of the year with a good one. Each variant on tour makes the player drive through different areas of Amsterdam, from the city to the country, and from the various underwater sections to the gigantic yet beautiful flower garden. It's a complete package. Not to mention, Wave 4 might come out around the same time that Wave 3 did, which was around the early spring. And if this track does not scream spring vibes, then I don't know what to tell you. Nintendo is more than likely to bring this one back. Next up, we have our first ever GameCube track to ever be introduced in the Booster Course Pass, which is Daisy Cruiser. I personally picked this course because there isn't any Daisy track representation in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe yet, and it's really not a far-fetched idea since the track is already in Mario Kart Tour. Regardless, Daisy Cruiser is a unique track from Mario Kart Double Dash. You literally race on a cruise ship, driving through the underground pool, passing moving dining tables, and not to mention that cellar passage filled with clams and that one eel from Mario 64? Yeah, he be chillin', just like the vibe of this track. It's super chill. However, one thing I would like to see Nintendo change though is the dining room section. I hope they somehow change it into an anti-gravity one where you can spin around the tables and get an extra boost. I think that would be a pretty cool feature to add. But yeah, while this track isn't super crazy, I think it's a nice build up for what I have in store in the Boomerang Cup. As for the third track in the Fruit Cup, we have the last DS track to appear as DLC. And since this is the last one, I want to make this one a good one. DS Airship Fortress. As much as it's cool to have other tracks like Delfino Square, I think Airship Fortress is one of the best tracks to ever exist. I remember my first time playing and being like, OMG, this track is from Mario Bros 3. Cause you know, when you fight the boss in that game, you usually go through a series of obstacles from their airship. But yeah, anyway, that's besides the point. The track starts off with bullet bills angrily coming your way, then comes the rocky wrenches, which I'm hoping they actually throw wrenches at you in the new version, then comes the fire blasters, and the infamous loop at the end. Overall, this track isn't boring at all, and its theme is mostly based off of Bowser's minions, which is a nice change of pace. You always seem to have tracks building off of a main character, but here, nah, it's all about Bowser's army, which I'm all for it. And to finish off the Fruit Cup, we have a brand new track. And if the data mines are actually true, I'm going to have to go with what a lot of people are saying. A Yoshi's Island related course. And why are they saying that? Well, fans of Mario Kart Tour have been dissecting the ins and out of the game. And they were able to dig up various unreleased codenames and objects, with one of them in particular being Mobi-YI. With Mobi being short for mobile and YI potentially being Yoshi's Island. Even though YI could stand for literally anything, fans were able to dig even deeper and found other assets associated with Mobi-YI, such as Arrow, Flower Ring, and Hey Ho, which also translates to Shy Guys. So yeah, for those who have played Yoshi's Island, then you know in that game there are a bunch of Shy Guys, Flower Rings, and Arrow signs. And what's even more funny to think is not only does a new track line up perfectly for this cup, but it also so happens to be fruit related. And what does Yoshi eat? Well, you can finish that sentence if you want. Alrighty, so moving on, we have the second part of Wave 4, the Boomerang Cup. As per usual, I think Nintendo is going to start off with another city track, which in this case, I'm going to have to go with Los Angeles Laps. Not only does the music here slap, but its variations are also just as intriguing as Amsterdam Drift. On lap 1, we drive through the Santa Monica Pier and Venice Beach, then on lap 2, the Inglewood oil field, and to top it all off, passing through the LA Convention Center, Dodger Stadium, and Beverly Hills on lap 3. Each lap pretty much has a different scenery, which will definitely keep things more refreshing. Not to mention, this track will also get us hyped for the inevitable summer, which is not too far away if this wave does come out early spring. So yeah, overall, it's a great city track that shows what Los Angeles is all about, and I really hope Nintendo brings this one back. Okay, so our second Boomerang Cup track, we finally introduced our second ever GameCube track, Waluigi Stadium. Just kidding. Wario Coliseum all the way, baby. Wario Coliseum has been slept on for many years. It's very surprising how it has not made a return yet. I mean, it has so many windy turns, I feel like anti-gravity would suit the track so well. Not to mention, think about how fun and challenging it would be to be able to play it in 200cc. Yes, Waluigi Stadium is also a fun track, but I personally think Wario Coliseum is in a league of its own. Like, for real, Nintendo needs to remake this track. The remake will look absolutely stunning, and I know they could make it work with all the other mechanics Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has, such as turning this part into a nice glider section. For real, that would actually work. So please Nintendo, bring this one back. It's such a classic and it would definitely pop off. Moving on to our second to last track in the Boomerang Cup, here we are with GBA's Riverside Park. Now, I was originally going to pick Bowser Castle 3, but I realized that I think it's the wrong choice. BC3 is fun and all, especially in Mario Kart Wii, but bruh, just look at Riverside Park's glow up. It looks completely different. I like the fact that we get to drive through a cave section and jump out of a waterfall in the end. Like, what the heck? That's a really nice idea. You can tell Nintendo took some time to figure out how to make this one a bit more memorable. However, while I can agree that this track won't be the most sophisticated, I think it's going to end up being one of those short and sweet type of courses. There's still some windy turns that I think will be enjoyable to drift, especially in 200cc, but I'm calling it now. It's going to be the new SNES Mario Circuit 3, where it may be bland on the outside, but will actually be really fun down to its core. So yeah, Riverside Park all the way. And lastly, to end off the Wave 4 predictions, I'm keeping the extra tour track in this slot, and I'm giving it to Singapore Speedway. While I've only played this track once, I remember it being pretty fun and being super colorful. So I can't imagine how awesome it would be to drive on it in an actual TV screen on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It would look absolutely gorgeous, especially with the fact that Nintendo is finally upping their game when it comes to them graphics. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Wave 1. Sheesh. Still can't believe they did that with the grass. But yeah, Singapore is such a great city because you're just chilling, passing famous landmarks from left to right. Seems like every section is super memorable, especially with them neon colors. Not to mention, this is going to be the first track where we'll finally be utilizing a gliding mechanic a lot more, which is something very different. And speaking of different, even though this particular city track only has 2 variants, Singapore Speedway 2 can probably be used for laps 2 and 3 since it has 2 conveyor belts going the opposite directions. It would be really clever if Nintendo figures out how to make us go in reverse in lap 3 so we can experience going on the red belt. Regardless of the outcome, it's still one of the most beautiful city tracks in Mario Kart Tour, and I think ending Wave 4 off with something as spectacular as this would be the right call. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Wave 4 Booster Course Pass predictions. Leave a like if you enjoyed and comment down below your personal list. In addition to my course predictions, you should definitely check out what features I want Nintendo to add in future waves as well. I promise you, it won't be disappointing. But if it is, well, that's okay, because I'm disappointed that I can't see my forehead.
What's your problem?